Harold Williams has been worrying about his bees for 30 years. Since 1985, the number of honeybees in Wales has fallen by 23%. And if there aren't enough bees to pollinate plants, certain foods could vanish from our diet completely. Now the Welsh Government wants to preserve the woodland and farmland bees need to survive. For Harold, it's good news.
This pollinator action plan is a firm step forward. We really need it. We need government to get hold of this. We've really got to take these steps. Without it, we're all going to be the poor.
But there's a sting in the tail yet. The European Union has just placed a 2-year ban on neonicotinoids, a group of pesticides believed to be harmful to bees. It isn't such good news for the farmers who rely on these pesticides to grow their crops.
Bees were big on the agenda at this year's Royal Welsh Spring Festival, an important event for the farming community in Wales. From December, no farmer can spray his plants with neonicotinoids. For Dr. Fred Slater, biologist and director of the show, the worry is these pesticides will be replaced with something more dangerous.
People will say, well, if we can't use this, we've got to use something else. And I think the big danger is, what's the something else?
But only 12% of land in Wales is actually used for arable farming, the type that needs pesticides. The fact that we're still losing bees, though, suggests the EU ban could be targeting the wrong area.
The figures we have suggest that there's really small use of neonicotinoids in Wales. And that leads us to a problem, really, because we're losing bees, it seems, at about the same rate as they are in England.
The Welsh Government says the country needs gardeners who are willing to help the bees.
Basically, it involves putting certain plants in the garden which are bee friendly. Basically, things like you've got scabious, you've got things like viburnum, stuff like that. Basically, things that produce sort of quite big open flowers that allow the bees to get into the flower, or actually others which they can just brush onto to get the pollen to take off, take the nectar off.
But will this be enough to save pollinators like bees?
You've got to have a balance, you've got to have pollination, yet you've got to control pests. So it's a very careful balance, and I think it'll be something which people will be debating for many years.
If the 2-year ban is successful, farming could be very different in the future. But there's still a long way to go before Harold can be sure his bees are safe again. Thompson, CGS News.